Hello, everyone. Uh-oh.
There we go. I think we're
There we
unmuted
go.
now. Check. How's it going tonight, Chris?
She's been a night. I was just settling down at the bar for supper and having a beer, and Tamara called. The roads have been absolute hell all afternoon. Freezing rain in Wisconsin, and then into Minnesota. Minneapolis, St. Paul was a whiteout with snow and horrible conditions. The only thing I was concerned about was getting good number one fuel in the diesel tanks, parking, and going in for supper. And then Tamara called, and I went, "Oh crap!" So I rushed back out to the truck here. So my apologies for my tardiness here.
No, not at all. Well, like I said, I was starting to worry because I messaged you a couple times today and I never heard back. So, which is unusual for you. You usually poke your head in and out of the chat rooms there every once in a while. But I figured
There's,
obviously you're a busy guy.
there's probably 600 missed messages on
Ah,
my phone. That was the last thing I could
I
do today
bet
was look at my phone when I was driving on that stuff. It was horrible. So. But
it
we're
was a
here. We're
wicked
safe. We're fixed.
storm. Yeah,
It
that's
is
good.
ugly.
Yeah, a wicked storm. Like I was just saying before we went live, we just caught the outskirts of the storm here, but it was very windy. I've lost a lot of shingles. I know in Manitoba, the roads are all closed around the whole area. Basically, I think Manitoba is shut down. So I can't even imagine what you had to deal with today.
North Dakota, I got a truck sitting in Fargo right now. They wouldn't even load the tractors today for the 4-wheel drive plant there. So he spent the day sitting there, and it was +7 this morning in Wisconsin when I loaded my case tractor, and the roads were decent all up until half an hour from the Minnesota border. And then the rain started, and it rained hard. So yeah,
Wow.
North Dakota was pretty much shut down today. Minnesota's in a storm watch. There's a blizzard just south of us, and it's clear here now all of a sudden. So I guess it's just
Good.
cold. From +7 to -21 tonight, I believe, is what the temperature's supposed to drop to. So I got Zippy all snuggled into a warm truck here. He's good to go.
Can you hear me, Chris?
I can hear you.
Okay, that's weird. I'm getting some weird errors. Might be time for a new laptop. Well, hopefully you get some good weather. Are you coming home tomorrow or are you going to be down there for the weekend?
I am 1,340 kilometers from home right now, so I probably won't make it home tomorrow. And I have to do the forfeiture hearing for Big Red tomorrow, so I'll probably wake up in the morning, put a couple hours of driving in, and then stop somewhere and listen to the reading of the fate of my future and my truck and my livelihood. So
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening tomorrow with your case. I just want to take a minute here. Hello, everyone. Life be in it. Merry Christmas from Perth. Thank you. That is one of our strong supporters from Australia, believe it or not. A lovely lady that I've met on Twitter. Carolyn Peters. Hi. 10 degrees in Windsor. Nice. Yes,
nice.
hang on. Oh, I think my dad's here. 1 second.
Stan the man.
Stan
Sorry,
the
I'm on my
man.
iPad.
He's probably gonna make an appearance. I just heard somebody yelling my name upstairs, so it's my dad.
The
All
amazing man,
right.
Mr. Keith Wilson, just reposted the stream. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, that's right. Hang on. Hello from Michigan. Hi, Lisa from Michigan. You got this. All right.
I just
I
pulled
think
into
my dad's
Clearwater,
bringing me a
Minnesota.
turkey. He's gonna come for Christmas, so he's obviously just dropping off the turkey.
Nice.
So
I just met a guy in the parking lot here. He's from Indianapolis, Indiana. He just walked across the parking lot just to say hi, shake my hand, and say follow you on TikTok, and stand behind you guys. So Aaron is his name. It's good to see him.
it is. It's really quite overwhelming and heartening, the support that we have. And even I posted about the hearing tomorrow today, and it's all just messages of support and love, and people are watching. I think the whole world is watching this. What's
I can't
happening
believe
here?
we're at a spot right now. Doesn't it kind of hit you? It hits me every now and then where I'm just kind of driving. I woke up this morning and I thought, why are we living through this right now? The government wants to take my truck because, like, it floors me that we're at a spot right now. I got a message from somebody the other day, and he said, "How do you keep your composure? Why are you not angry and bitter?" Well, honestly, I thought about it, and I'm like, there's too many people watching right now. For me to show anger or bitter would be a show of, I don't want weakness, maybe, and I'm not weak in any sense. I will stand my ground right till the end. And this truck is something that I will fight literally to the death for. It's that attached to me as a thing. So it has no, it has the resemblance to Freedom Convoy, of course, that it has for so many people. But for me, it's been my life for 22 years, this truck, and I still run it. I talk to it.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
My dad's here.
Dad?
Hi, say hi, Dad. We're just doing our show.
Hello, everybody.
I don't know if you can hear. This is my dad, Stan McBurney.
McBurney.
Some of you may have. Him and my mom actually led the convoy out in their pilot truck when we left here. So I think you're just dropping off the turkey. Am I right?
It's on your cover.
Oh, thank you.
So love you.
I'm
And I'm out of here.
Okay, sorry I can't visit.
Yes,
No, that's all right. I'm busy.
Okay, talk to you later, Dad. Everyone's
He's
saying
an
hi,
amazing man,
Dad.
that guy.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, he has a turkey for me, so we're gonna cook his turkey on Christmas Day. Oh, St. Thomas, Ontario. Wow, oh, amazing.
Nice.
Well, I just want to say thank you all for joining us on House Arrest tonight with Chris and Tamara, where we bring you our weekly updates. We are going into, or just finishing, I guess, week 10 of House Arrest. I can't believe how fast it's going by. Can you?
It's been an ordeal. It's definitely
been something.
Yeah, it's been challenging, but it's been also rewarding as well too. So
yes,
thank
that's
everybody
right.
for this.
Well, as most of you know, I was gone to Manitoba for a couple of weeks. I had a new grandbaby born a few weeks ago. So, and we did talk a little bit about that, I think, in our chat that one day, just the challenges of getting all the scheduling done and all that kind of stuff. And but I was really grateful that I was able to go out and obviously spend that time with my kids and my grandkids. And it just sucks that they're so far away. And then, of course, some of you may have heard that I have been offered and gratefully accepted a position with Rebel News. We made the announcement today. So I have actually flown to Toronto last week too to attend some training and stuff out there. So that's been really exciting. Of course, with the job, we had to sort of run all that stuff by my probation officer to make sure that it was going to be something that I was going to be able to do. And again, so long as everything's meticulously scheduled and, we have, which is what I do basically. I mean, I organize things. So it's
Very well.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, it's going to be really nice to have a paycheck again. I'm very excited to be working and obviously I've been a fan of Rebel News for quite some time. So this is like a dream come true for me.
They are probably one of the only, well, there's many independent journalists in this country that do an amazing job, but Rebel News is probably the highlight for being the most vocal, and it definitely shows.
Well, they were there on the ground, right? I mean, when you remember what happened there on the ground, there was very few journalists and independent journalists, no mainstream media, barely, and they came out already to put with an agenda and a narrative. But it was Rebel News, and it was people like Andrew Lawton, who was a citizen. I think he was with True North at the time, actually. Subramania, and all these people that came out and told the truth from the streets. And so I feel like they've sort of been with us right from the start, and so I think this is a really nice fit. I'm very excited. So thank you everyone for the congratulations.
Somebody like Andrew Lawton, who went from independent media, to now a member of Parliament, is the prime example of getting involved with something that, Andrew was with us there. He was one of the first novels that came out about Convoy and the information behind it. So we're proud of him.
Yeah, very proud of him. And look what he's doing now. Yeah, talk about a case of putting your money where your mouth is, Andrew Lawton is a great example for us all, in my opinion. Really love what he's doing, and he's just a good guy. That's what we need back in politics. It's people that are just good people, good, solid people that are there for the right reasons, and that are there to speak up for their constituents. So kudos to him. And so, sorry, you're coming back to Canada tomorrow. Maybe we'll get to Ruby to queue up that video because we want to talk about what's happening in court tomorrow with your case.
Actually have the bunk bed in the back right now down.
Oh, what's a video?
That's right.
Ruby, did you make a video? Awesome.
She did. I'm telling you, this lady, but I think we got to rewind.
She's been helping me and piloting with me. So in the evenings, we save our hotel costs.
There we go.
Isn't it ironic that 22 years ago today, November 26, 2003, I picked this truck up from Custom Truck Sales in Regina, brand new. I would like to take everybody for a little tour on my 2004 W900 Kenworth, the iconic Big Red. The seats are a little wore out. It is it's been my home for the better part of 22 years. I'd like to show you the collar of the dog Buddy that I had put down in this passenger seat, and I believe it was 2014. The dog traveled with me for the better part of 17 years. This truck has been my life and my family's life for as long as they can remember. We actually have the bunk bed in the back right now down because my daughter's been helping me and piloting with me. So in the evenings we save our hotel costs by her just sleeping up here and I sleep down on the bottom. The kids were literally babies when this truck was new. My son was 7 months old. He was the first one in the passenger seat. And they were raised in this truck and around this truck. They are the ones who named it the Big Red Truck. And then that name stuck from there. And iconically, it is now, it's a piece of history. And the Crown wants to destroy that because of that. So ask yourself in history, what government in the past has done that same thing? Yeah, I think it was China under communist dictatorship.
Good job, Ruby. Good job.
I think you're absolutely right about that, Chris. Yeah, great job, Ruby. So tomorrow, Chris, do you want to tell everyone what's happening in court tomorrow? I don't have a link yet for it. I assume that you don't yet either.
I don't yet. No, I'll share it. Well, it might be on my phone. I missed a lot of messages, but yeah, probably 10 o'clock Eastern time. We will go be in Zoom trial. I'll probably be close to Fargo, North Dakota by that time. And the judge will rule on the summary dismissal motion for the forfeiture of Big Red. Diane Magus, which is represented by, the Justice Center Constitutional Freedoms, has been my main backer on Diane right from the day one through the criminal trial through the forfeiture hearings. We brought Brendan Miller in to assist with CB Trucking and Jonathan's portion of ownership, as well as my parents' portion of ownership. Most people, I get questioned on this every now and then, but after Convoy, my son Jonathan was 20 years old, or 18, and he needed a truck, and I went to go get a truck for him to be part of the company, and I couldn't get a loan for that truck because the criminal charges on me, the $300 million lawsuit on me, and the fact that our bank accounts were frozen for so long. So what I did then was I sold Big Red to my parents. Legally, fair and square, bill of sale was produced, but with the terms that I could keep running Big Red, and it gave me the financial, freedom to then purchase Jonathan's truck. And so then we've got Brendan Miller in to represent my parents' interests, as well as Jonathan's and CB Trucking. Diane Magus is representing me, and Brendan's filed a dismissal summary motion, and we're going to hear that tomorrow. So he's given the courts enough case law actions, everything that it basically it should tie the judge's hands in saying that this is a frivolous claim, and then she tosses it out. I'm praying that that's what happens tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, then I guess it's on for another realm of trials. So with any luck, we log on tomorrow morning. She makes a decision in the best frame of people's interest, my interest, and we move on with our lives. But that's basically what it comes down to. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like Brendan did a fantastic job. I think he went in there and sort of mopped the floor with them, so to speak. It was very interesting to see how he was treated, definitely because of who he is and who he's represented in the past by some of the personnel in that courtroom. And I'm predicting a win for tomorrow. It's Miller time. Exactly, Miller time. So I'm predicting a huge W for you tomorrow. I think he's really sort of painted them into a corner with the case law that he presented. And again, I mean, it's so obvious, I think, to anybody that's watching that this is just vengeful, vindictive, petty, and spiteful. There is absolutely no reason for them to take and destroy that truck other than because they don't like what it represents.
It has never happened.
I mean, I think tomorrow's going to be good.
Well, to Canadian
Exactly.
judicial history, this has never happened in Canadian history. Never has the Crown ever tried to seize an asset from an alleged crime committed 4.5, almost 5 years after the fact from a different province. And what did, like, we were led onto Wellington with Big Red. We parked it where the police told us to park it. You were in the cab of the truck with us when that happened. The truck sat in the turning lane of the Supreme Court for, what was it, 11 days or something like that. There was one empty lane to the left and 2 empty lanes to the right. It was not impeding traffic. When the cops asked me to take the truck out of downtown Ottawa, I took the truck out of downtown Ottawa and I parked it out at exit 88 on the east side of the city. And so for them to come after this, it proves how vindictive and evil these people are.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And they're just trying to crush the symbol. I mean, look at what that truck represents to so many people. And I remember even during the convoy when we were driving across Canada and we were laughing about how the rig from Smokey and the Bandit back in the day was the most famous truck up until that point, up until January of 2022. And then I think Big Red surpassed that. But again, it's because of what it represents. And I can't remember who we were talking to the other day, but somebody said to me, even if the government was going to seize it, for example, I mean, why would they want to destroy it? Because this is actually, whether you approve of what we did or disapprove of what we did, it happened and it was a globally recognized event that is going to be in the Canadian history books. So, I mean, much like the evidence that the government is currently destroying about the Freedom Convoy files, I mean, why would they want to destroy it? Which is another thing altogether. I mean, that came out last week too, that they were caught deleting evidence. Well, there's cases before the courts regarding the freezing of bank accounts. We have some. I know there's other cases before the courts. So, I mean, this just can't continue. This just can't continue. You just don't get to cancel and erase something and wipe it off the planet because you don't like it.
They've done that with the climate history, though. They've done that with whatever they choose to do. This government's been acting without accountability for, basically 10 years. And you go back to the reasons why Convoy was created in the first place. It was because government was acting without accountability. And I think I'm about to get backed into here. And these people make me so nervous out here. My gosh.
Uh-oh. Do you need to take a minute?
No, I just see he's look at his phone on his dash and he's doing a live stream right now. Okay, that's probably why you shouldn't be doing a live stream when you're driving. Can we get back to
you are, but I guess you're not driving at least.
No, I don't do that. Can we get back to normal drivers tonight? Like, there were some pretty treacherous road conditions out here. I wasn't worried about my driving. I can drive on ice. I can drive in snow and a blizzard. What I fear was the people slamming on the brakes that didn't know how to drive in this stuff. 4-ways. When you put your 4-ways on at 60 mile an hour down a highway, if you're scared, get off the highway. 4-ways are not helping anything. We're in trouble out here. It's evident.
I can't even imagine. There looked like some carnage around Calgary yesterday. I don't know if you saw any of the footage, but there was
85
some
cars
vehicle pileups on the QE2 there for sure. Yes.
But that's the mentality of drivers nowadays. They drive into a snowstorm without knowing what's in front of them at full speed. Jesus take the wheel is kind of maybe their motto. I'm not sure what it is, but it's ridiculous. I see it every day.
Wow. Jesus take the
wheel. Basically, it's the
man.
Carrie Underwood song. But.
Yeah. Well, I think tomorrow's going to be a win. I'm really hoping for a positive outcome. I guess at the end of the day, if she denies it, you guys will be proceeding ahead with the forfeiture application hearings. And I guess the most concerning thing that I think was what the Crown prosecutor actually stated in one of your hearings, which was that even if this fails, if their forfeiture application that they filed in Ontario fails, and she does grant your request tomorrow, or denies their forfeiture application, that they plan to continue to pursue this, starting in Saskatchewan, starting by going to the courts in Saskatchewan to get into that jurisdiction. And basically, they said that they're just not going to stop at anything until they get their way, which is pretty. It's pretty hair-raising when you think of some of the cases that are getting thrown out in our courts today. Again, I've said this many times. This prosecution is a choice. It is a choice by somebody sitting in the AG office in Ontario, because they're letting all these other cases go, but they're choosing to continue to prosecute / persecute this case, and I think we all know why. So.
And anyone from Ontario in the live stream right now, if you think Doug Ford's a good person, Doug Ford is in charge of the Attorney General's Office of Ontario, which is in charge of the forfeiture hearings. So it is definitely political. It's been political. And I've kind of come to the realization now that this is the hill that I will die on. And we have sat for over 50 days in a court of law for a mischief trial. We've heard some pretty outlandish things that have been thrown at us. You know, how many people did they have testify against us in trial with, you know, never having a personal interaction with any one of those people? Like the stuff that we've listened to in court for the last, 2 years is absolutely atrocious. It would make any, woke person completely melt down and cry in a split second. And that for us to endure that with a smile on our face and walk away with criminal charges and a smile on our face and walk away with 18 months of house arrest with a smile on our face, this is too far. This is my line in the sand. So I will fight to the death on this truck. And that's the clear fact on that. You have to stand for something, and I will stand for this.
Absolutely do. Well, I think no matter what happens tomorrow, or even at the end of the day, I don't think that truck's I don't think they're gonna grant them your vehicle. I can't see it. I think there would be an uproar. I think there would be an uproar in Canada. And maybe I shouldn't say this, but I would hope so. I mean, we can't start setting that precedent where, 4 years after the fact, you can just walk in and steal somebody's property and livelihood. But I mean, we just watched what happened at the ostrich farm. So we definitely know what these people are capable of.
Oh yeah, they'll stop at nothing to destroy anyone once, how dare you? This is it's dictatorship Canada is what it is when you stand up against the government, when you voice an opinion against the government that doesn't go with the government narrative, they will put you down, and they've proven that time and time again. This is what they did to us in Convoy. They messaged to the media that we're evil people, and they ran with that. I still see that comment section on social media. You're a terrorist. You held the city. You occupied the city. It was an occupation. You tried to overthrow the government. That was nothing like what Ottawa was. I spoke with a guy in the truck stop yesterday in Black River Falls, Wisconsin, who was with us in Ottawa. He was there with a truck, and he said it was day and night, Chris. I can't believe how the media has lied to the people, and some people out there have chose to believe it.
Yeah. I love this comment. Sorry, I want to bring it back up here for a second, Ruby, by Lone Wolf Sage. And it just says, can I bring that up there? Yeah. When they attacked Chris and Tamara, they attacked all of us.
Yes.
Stand together, divided we fall. And I just wanted to address that because I think that's a really important point. Chris and I are fighting for our lives in the courts, but I mean, that said, it really is going to affect everyone. Like the ultimate outcome of all of this is not just going to affect myself and Chris. It's going to affect every Canadian going forward that wants to demonstrate against their government or push back against tyrannical measures. I heard recently, and I think we were just talking about this, Chris, in Saskatchewan, there was a lady and a friend that were on their way to the farmers' protest a few weeks ago, and they were actually pulled over by an RCMP officer and told to turn around and go home unless they wanted to end up like Chris and Tamara.
Yeah.
And so this is the stuff that we can't have. If there's one piece of advice I will give you, it's don't be afraid. These people really, they can take things from you, but they can't ever truly take your freedom away. So it's just fear tactics. And she even said in our trial that she was going to give us this great sentence because she didn't want this to be a deterrent, the sentence to be a deterrent, right? But clearly that's exactly what it was meant for. Also, the longest mischief trial of all time and the lawfare on top of that. So I think that's really concerning when we have a law enforcement officer threatening people about attending protests, or they're going to end up like you and me.
And I know so many amazing members across the country, RCMP and city enforcement and law enforcement. I've always had a lot of respect for law enforcement. But do you think, how much of an embarrassment are you to that badge when you go out of your way to pull somebody over and threaten them like that? Is there a red and white swat, arm patch underneath the uniform there? Because it sure seems like it. This is, you're dragging other good members down when you take part in that sort of thing. And I wish people would wake up to that fact. What side of history would you like to be on, the right side or the wrong side?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's frustrating sometimes. I mean, I think we all want to save the country, but there's a lot of I'm listening to Sean Ryan's got an 8-series podcast that I just subscribed to, and it's really good. And it's basically all about psychological operations. And I would highly recommend. It cost me $26 Canadian, and I'm already on episode 5, and I would highly recommend it, because when you start to see these things, well, Tom would know. I mean, Army Tom's in the backstage, I see, so he can give us some insight into that for sure. But once you start seeing the steps of a psychological operation, or all the signs to recognize a psychological operation, it will actually blow your mind how many times a day that you can recognize these things happening, even in our news cycle. So it's well, I mean, when we see it all the time, we had the MPs that were trying to get into Gaza. And then you see all these same tweets talking about how these poor MPs were denied entry, and one of them was assaulted, and it's just all text. It's just like they cut and pasted it all. So, this is something I definitely recommend that Canadians learn to recognize is the signs of a psyop and propaganda, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's just going to help you create some situational awareness as to what is going on in our country right now, because it feels like one ginormous psyop.
It does. And they keep exposing themselves regularly. I said that on Facebook today on a post, that they keep exposing themselves daily on the corruption. And when are Canadians actually going to have enough and stand up and say enough? Yes. Hi, Tom.
Welcome, Tom Marazzo. How you doing? You had a week off.
I'm good.
How was it?
I did. I had a great week. I was alone on the land and building my timber frame cabin kind of thing. It was an ordeal, I'll tell you. Pretty cold, pretty snowy. I had a great time, though. It was a lot of hard work. So, but it all paid off. I got the hardest part done. Now I just got to close in the bunkie, basically, and start putting some furniture and a wood stove in there. But I built a septic system and everything for it, so I'm pretty happy about it. It was a good use of my week off. Get my head back in the game. Yes. So yeah, sorry about my voice.
Oh, not to worry.
Yeah. Yes.
I was just out in Manitoba for those 2 weeks, just in the middle of nowhere, and I needed it. Just to be out in the trees and the fresh air and no people, no traffic, no people, no sirens.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, I was listening. You're talking about the psyops, and a lot of people don't know that for a long time, the biggest budget of the United States military was their psyops. Like the funding that goes into psyops for the U.S. military, it's one of the biggest budgets they have. And there's a really good guy, probably on the Sean Ryan show. His name is Chase Hughes. Yes, Chase Hughes he's got a great YouTube channel as well. Like you can watch him on his own channel, Chase Hughes, or on Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan's got a great podcast as well. But yeah, like it's a big thing. I mean, psychological operations, people have to be aware is that you have to start with what is the effect I'm trying to achieve, and then you reverse engineer everything around that. Like, this is what I want. This is my end goal here. How do I back it up and get all the pieces into place to achieve that? And so you always start at the end. What's the effect? And, in a different circles, we call it effects-based operations. So slightly different than PsyOps, but in a nutshell, you got to know what your end goal is, right? And the scary part is we don't ever get to know what the end goal is. We can't extrapolate what are the pieces that they're putting into place. I mean, we don't know what the end goal to any of this stuff is. We can try to guess. We can do a whole bunch of theorizing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's a guess. It's a guess. It really is, like what they're trying to do. But when you're looking at it from reverse engineered, or you're seeing it, or you're part of the plan, it's like, wow, how do people not figure out how obvious this is? It's really hard to do. Really hard to do. So,
yeah, it is.
but I think the public's getting better.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, I think the long.
Mhm.
Well, I think honestly, I think the 2 years of stuff that was happening before the convoy really opened, I think, a lot of people's eyes to psychological operations, and how, I mean, to me, and like, I'm no rocket scientist, obviously, I'm not a doctor, but even to me, the propaganda at the outset was shocking to me, because that's all we heard about, right? And of course, one of the first signs for me was, I remember driving to work one morning, right when the cure was being announced and coming out, and the first people that they were offering them to were the First Nations, and I just remember, like, my blood ran cold just hearing that on the news. But of course, they make it sound like it's so great. But I mean, we've all seen what happens when they target that specific demographic first. So for me, it was obvious almost right from the start what was going on. But there's still a lot of people that are confused.
Yeah, the elbows up. I just refer to them as elbows up. That's it.
Yes.
The elbows up voters.
Yeah.
I wrote a lot this week on Twitter. And Twitter, I try not to do things that are so long.
By the way.
Yeah, I try not to write things that are so long for Twitter, because there's not enough attention span on the Twitter for that one. So I do put my longer format stuff on my Substack, but I was like, no, I'm going to see, and the one that I wrote, the long one, it actually went, last I saw it had quite a bit of traction. So I was really happy with that. Longer typically than I would like to do on Twitter, but yeah, for me, the writing and the logic, putting the two things together, is very therapeutic for me. So that's why I do it.
I find Twitter really vile. I think it's probably the app that I go to. I post pictures of the truck and just wait for the haters to come on with their negative comments, and then I have fun with them in response. But
yeah.
I just mute everyone. I'm telling you, my Twitter, my X is the happiest place, really. I mean, as soon as I see something that's I don't care if you criticize me or you want to call me names, but the second you become absolutely disgusting, vile, and disrespectful, you can disagree with me all you want, but you can still do it respectfully. I just mute them. So literally, like, my X account is quite a happy place to be, honestly.
I block, and you know what? Joanna was like, "No, it's a free speech. You gotta be." I'm like, okay, let's bring this back to a real personal level. Let's say you and we get set up on a blind date, and the first thing out of your mouth is something vile about what I look like, what I'm wearing, total insults. Do you think the date is going to continue? Do you think there's going to be a second date? I'm going to block your phone number. I'm going to tell you to lose the number. Don't ever call me again. That's how I treat social media. If you can disagree all you want, but if you can't do it, if you can't use your words like an adult, then there's no second date for you. And I'm not going to let you. Now, I run the risk of building my own echo chamber. I know that I do, but I'd rather respect myself to lock you out of my life than to disrespect myself just for the sake that you can have free speech to be basically an asshole and treat me with such disdain. So I block people as a matter of self-respect. That's why I do it. Yeah. People on the line, sometimes I'll go mute if I'm not 100% sure, because sometimes I do get confused. And I've blocked a few people by accident, thinking they were attacking me, only to find out that no, they were actually agreeing with me and attacking the person that I was attacking. And I mean politician I was attacking.
And that's the problem with social media and texting is you don't get the context. I think I've accidentally done that too. And then I just stopped blocking people. I did block a few right after, because as you know, I was blocked from social media for 2 years. So when I did come back on, I did block some of the people because I had no contact orders with them. And I ended up in jail over a picture with you. So, and people, wouldn't purposefully, well, some of them would, but people normally wouldn't purposely tag all of us in something. But, you know, if they did, I had to untag myself really quickly because, you know, so rather than deal with that, I just blocked them. But you're right. I mean, and that's why I mute people now. I don't block, I just mute, but it's like, I wouldn't tolerate you abusing me in real life. I'm not going to let you do it in this circle either.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
totally
And you'd never say that to my face unless you're Dina
Oh,
Sharif.
right.
That's about all. Yeah.
Yeah. Karima is doing such a fantastic job covering those guys. And Greg Wycliffe, huge shout out to him. It looks like he had a very successful premiere of his new documentary, The Hate Network, where he is exposing organizations, NGOs that work for the Canadian government that are funded by your tax dollars to smear and cancel and tarnish the good names of many good Canadians. So I believe he's going to be in Ottawa within the next few days. So if you're in Ottawa and you don't have tickets, it's called The Hate Network. You can follow Greg on X. I think it's at GDUB, DUB, on X, or just search up Greg Wycliffe. Yeah. Oh, Sherilyn saw it. Wow, great.
Yeah.
I'm in it, but I can't go, obviously.
I wonder if you'll send us a link so we can watch it privately. I was going to message.
That would be awesome.
It's going to be April of 2027 before I'm free and clear to go do something. So
when does Trish Woods
you have a showing in your shop? Why don't you have a showing in your shop and hire my band to come and play?
Oh,
Rebel News will be on live. There you go.
Yeah.
We could do like a fundraiser and a screening of Greg's movie, and I'll bring my guitar and we can.
Tom just brought that good point up. When is Trish Woods about to release her documentary? We've spent the last number of years filming sequences for
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
They've been at the farm a couple
last
times.
I talked to her, pardon me. Last I talked to her, she thought it was going to be ready sometime this month or next month. They were just doing, I think, final edits and polishing up the script. And the last discussion we had was, you know, how close to Christmas on either side would it be a good idea to, because, you know, people have extra expenses this month. They'll be traveling. People are busy. So I'm hoping February, March, we should see it. If we haven't heard anything now, I can't see that it's going to be ready in a month by January.
Hopefully.
You know what would be great?
Having a special screening. Ray McGinnis, most people know, has wrote a book called Unjustified, and he is coming to do some book tours over the next few months. And Tamara and I spoke with him just the other day. We're trying to figure out how this is going to work. He's obviously going to do a small book signing thing at Tamara's house in Medicine Hat, and he's going to come to my farm. So I'm trying to think, do I make this a big deal and have a bunch of people out to the farm and crank the furnace? January 23rd will be the time when he's going to be at my place. And so that might be an invite that's going out. Maybe just open up the shop, get some porta potties in there, and put Big Red as the centerpiece. And people can come, get some tables and chairs, and just have an evening, you know, have a drink. And we're going to put that out here in the next little while. So it's something to think about if anybody's interested in that on January 23rd. I can't wait to talk with Ray.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I lost you guys. I got kicked off the internet there for a second. But he's also stopping here the night before on January the 22nd. So I will be putting out an invite only. I have a awkwardly shaped home, so I'm not sure how we're going to do this, but I'm going to invite probably 20 to 25 people to come and sit in on that in my home. And I think Ruby's the one and only incredible Ruby is going to come over and help me set up so that we could, because it's a Thursday night, so we could actually live stream our house arrest and cover Ray's book signing and his talk and the Q&A. So I think we're going to try and set that up here somehow. But I'm going to leave that up to Ruby because she's the brains behind the operation, really. We love you, Ruby. So if there's any locals around Medicine Hat or the southeastern Alberta area that want to come to my house on January the 22nd, for a up-close and intimate book reading with the one and only Ray McGinnis, please drop us an email. You can email us at, I'll bring this up here, 18house.arrest@gmail.com. That's 18house.arrest@gmail.com. That's for your comments, suggestions, questions, hate mail, whatever is on your mind. we've gotten quite a bit of mail in there actually, and I will be responding to them. I did get around to checking them this morning, so thank you to everybody that's emailed. And you're right, Chris. I did find some emails in there from someone that you think might have some issues.
From
and there was
one of our
30 of them in there. So
we live rent free in this lady's head from Camrose, Alberta. Her name is Darlene Jacobson, and she is literally in need of mental help. I've been thinking about calling the local RCMP and having a file opened on how just insane this person is. And I just thought to throw it out there because I seen her email came through about 30 times. In one of her comments was, can you buy ankle bracelets on your website, Chris? No, you can't. There's no ankle bracelet on my ankle.
But isn't
what kind of kink is she into?
She is the same lady that tried to file a police report because she thinks the most Albertan man, the most Albertan is
that one.
She was complaining because all the memes came out of him at the UCP AGM a couple of weeks ago, and she went and actually tried to file a police report because this character showed up at the AGM. Well, I mean, he's
AI. One of my first phone calls with Darlene, she called me out of the blue, and I actually have her saved in my contacts in my phone as Darlene Crazy Lady Jacobson. And she tried to tell me that I tried to run her over with Big Red in the convoy in Nisku. I wasn't part of the convoy in Nisku, lady, so I don't know where she got that from, but this was the big thing, and she was going to file a police report, and she hopes that we lose everything we've ever owned and we have to pay reparations for our actions for the rest of our lives. Darlene, go get some help. There's medication for people.
That's why I'm so happy. I own nothing and I'm happy. It's true what they say. It's true what Klaus Schwab says. I own nothing and I'm happy. Take anything away from me.
Some of the stuff we've had to deal with in the last 4 or 5 years has been absolutely but we appreciate all the positive support out there. I can't say that enough. We get the crazies. We absolutely do. We've got the death threats. But we've got a lot of support out here. And 99% of the comments on all social media posts are all positive, and we appreciate that and we see that. So
yeah.
Well, I've got everyone muted, so most of mine are positive.
Yeah. Yeah. But you got to admit, Chris, we have stumbled upon a very small handful of people that called themselves our friends.
Yes.
And turned out to be quite disruptive to everything. And I'm speculating here, but I'm suspecting 1 or 2 of these people that used to call themselves our friends are being a little bit disruptive in the province of British Columbia politics these days. And I can't prove anything, but I can certainly speculate. And the fingerprints are there. The fingerprints are there. If you just look up their nostrils, you see the fingerprints are all there. So yeah, I'm I don't know, like there's people that we trusted, that we were aligned with, we were in Ottawa with, and not only did they let us down, but they sabotaged a lot of the stuff that we were doing, and we have to look beyond those people, but we unfortunately sometimes have to be vigilant because they're still out there and they got away with a lot of the things that they did, and I'm never going to speak their names. They know who they are. They know what their agendas are. And I don't normally...
They talk about us on their show all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a frustration, and I'm not gonna say this person's name, but I'm a little upset because, lately the 3 of us have been taking in a lot of incoming rounds from somebody that we financially, all 3 of us on individual basis, all 3 of us have gone and helped. And that's a little bit frustrating, right? And of course you call them out and it's victimhood. It's like, wait a minute. You can't claim to be the victim. We've all along been trying our best to help you in the best way that we possibly can. And yet you're targeting us. Like, I don't get it. And no, I'm not going to go on your podcast to talk about it with you. I remember 2 years ago, this is a true story. I took the screenshot. There was a whole entire Twitter space or X space on New Year's Eve, starting of 2024, just to talk about how horrible I am. By people that all said that they were, my friends and stuff. So, I was on the land. I was on the land this week, and I was thinking, man, I got a lot of people on Twitter, and I got a lot of people I know, and I'm like, there's literally nobody right now that I can call to come and help me do this, because all my friends live in Alberta or Saskatchewan. Like I can't just call up people and say, hey, can you help me just for a few hours? I can't do
And
that.
we would if we could.
I know.
We know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All my Alberta and Saskatchewan friends, they'd be there in a minute, but I can't. There's I don't have that network in Ontario, and I was born and raised in Niagara Falls. And, I have a couple of good friends that I'm still in contact with from high school, but they can't just drop what they're doing. They have families and careers, but it's, it's strange because, yeah, I know, my situation with my kid. I wish, what I do, I'll tell you, if it wasn't for my, my kids, I would be out west. I think I'd be out west. That seems like the home for me. Same mentality, same support, same great people. Ontario, we just don't have. We don't have what you have out in the west. We just don't. I mean, there's a lot of great people in Ontario that see the world exactly the same way I do, and that's not necessarily the point. But they're my people. They're the same as your people. They are your people in Ontario. But, look at Brian and his wife and everyone in Niagara. It's amazing. But
yes, right.
We're scattered. You can't put 50 people that think like us in one room in Niagara right now. Maybe in Niagara you probably could.
That's a pretty.
There's a great crowd in Niagara for sure.
There really is. Yeah. I mean, that group down there is just
is awesome.
There's a difference about the West, and I've helped a bunch of people actually pick up and move Ontario and actually come out to the West, and there's a different mentality. It's life is a little slower in the West, and we actually have family and we have community, and I know that's the same all across the country, but it's just it feels different in the West. It
does.
I know Chris Stacy's out here. He came out a few weeks ago to go to the ostrich farm, and he's already. I asked him the other day if I said, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I don't want to leave." And I know I don't know what it is. I don't know. I mean, because as far as I'm concerned, Canada was settled by the strongest. The Europeans that came in here had to be strong, because if you weren't, it was just you died. I mean, the Indians that traveled through Manitoba, the story about that is just unbelievable. But I mean, Canada was built by strong, resilient people. And I feel like that because the prairies were established after that was sort of the frontier. And so I feel like it's maybe a little bit newer. We're still a little bit closer to that time period. I don't even know if that makes any sense, but I don't know. I mean, I grew up on the prairies of Saskatchewan, and I feel like our generation is kind of on the cusp. We're at the end of sort of, when they first got power, like our grandparents, when they first got power and they first got plumbing, we're sort of between that and then all the technology that came with the internet and where we're at now. I feel like we're sort of the generation stuck in between there. And I just know from my experience growing up in rural Saskatchewan, I mean, if we would have blizzards, we would be stuck in our yard for days. We couldn't get out. If it wasn't for neighbors, and also keep in mind at this time that Canada, I think, was much more rural. Like there used to be way more farms. When I was a kid, if you were a town kid, it was weird. Everybody lived on a farm. You know what I mean? I think that's just that spirit is still just alive and well out here. We're survivors. We have humanity and compassion. We know if we don't look after each other that bad things can happen. We had to build this place from nothing, basically. So I think that's a lot of it. And just, of course, how can you not feel free when you're staring at the mountains and that big, beautiful blue sky?
You know, and there's a big difference in the fact that, you know, if you took the population of Quebec, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and probably BC, you might come close to the population of Ontario, right? And here's a really weird dynamic in Ontario. Everybody re-elected Doug Ford about how he bragged about being the most restrictive leader in all of North America during the COVID era, right? He bragged about it.
Mhm.
And so what did the Ontario voters? They were so terrified of Liberals getting elected in the government of Ontario again that they gave this psychopath 20 more additional seats. That's how afraid they were of Ontario Liberals. But who gave the country federal Liberals? Ontario voters, Ontario and Quebec voters. So, you know, the Ontario and Quebec Ontario voters, they don't have an idea what the hell they're doing. Like they're elbows up with their head up their ass. It's very, very bizarre, the dynamics here. But here's the thing. Pearson International Airport.
It's emotion and not logic, Tom. They're coming from a place of emotion and not rational thinking. Sorry to interrupt you.
Orange man bad, right? But you've got Pearson International Airport, which brings in all of the people that have no love, loyalty, or history with this country. They come here, they're given a cell phone and they're given lots of cash, and they're told, hey, if you don't vote for this guy next time around, it all gets cut off and you go back home, right? So you look at, like, Ontario is the beachhead for immigration coming into Canada. And then they spread out. But I know for a fact, my cousin works in the Niagara region, and he's telling me he works with certain immigrants that have come into Canada, and they're resigned, like they quit their job and they're told, yeah, like next week I'm told I have to get on a bus and I'm moving to Saskatchewan.
Wow.
Like they're told this and they're doing it. And so, like, the stuff that's going on here on the immigration front, it doesn't allow for Canadians to just breathe, get some relief, get some rest, and then figure out what to do next, because they're just getting hammered from every possible vector right into their little elbows up brains, and they don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do. The PSYOP is very effective. Very effective.
Well, you control the messaging and you control the narrative.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
The government's very good at that.
Yeah, they're very good. Like I've spoiled my ballot. I see one of the comments. I have spoiled my ballot in elections because my vote is none of you are acceptable to me. I don't accept a single one of your parties or your platforms or your candidates, but I still showed up, spoiled my ballot, and it was counted.
Right.
But I still went through the motions, but none of you are acceptable. That's my vote. That's allowed. That's perfectly allowed, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So what's the Christmas holidays like for everybody?
Ooh, well, I am staying home because I'm under house arrest. No, obviously with the new baby, my daughters are going to be staying in Manitoba for Christmas, and my oldest is going to head out there with the boys at the end of the month, and then my brother's having Christmas in Swift Current, so she's going to take the boys and head there. So it's going to be pretty quiet. I'm actually hoping to be visited by Chris Stacey and Mike Rood for Christmas Day, but that depends on if they can get out of Calgary. And I said it would be an honor for me to cook you guys a turkey dinner, because I can make a mean turkey dinner. So hopefully that. And we should mention that next Thursday night is actually Christmas Day, so we won't have a stream next week. And I think the week after that will be New Year's. I'm not doing anything for New Year's, Chris. Maybe we should have a house arrest New Year's party.
I think we should. That's good with me. Early enough in the day.
Let's think about that. Let's think about that.
Let's actually think about that. That would be
good. So, I mean, there's absolutely nobody else I'd rather hang out with, Tom, and you nailed it earlier. You know, we had a lot of really great friends at the beginning of this, or people that we thought were going to be great friends. But at the end of the day, I'm grateful that we've seen true colors. I'm grateful for the experience that we had with them and for opening my eyes, and even more grateful for the team that we really have now, because, you know, Chris and I were just saying last week, there is nothing that Chris Barber could do that would make me mad enough or angry enough that I would ever stab him in the back. I don't care what it was. I would walk away, have a great life. Thanks for everything you did.
Yep.
But you know, that's who I am. That's just who I am. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can, I can safely say that you guys know that I will have your backs for the end of time, no
Mhm.
matter what. And I believe that you have mine also. So
Yes. Yeah. And you know, like these are hard lessons to learn, right? Like we've all suffered them. You know, 3 Augusts ago, there was somebody that we all interacted with very closely who was threatening to have a citizen's arrest and abduct me and bring me before some weird trial. And it's like,
I
you
forgot
know,
about that.
yeah, the person who intercepted the thing said, "You say that one more time, I'm going to call the police and have you arrested for trying to abduct somebody." You
Oh
know,
my
but
gosh.
you know, this started. I'll tell you a really funny story, and I'm just kind of shooting from the hip on this. I got a text from Keith Wilson. God, over 3 years ago. It was about, I would say about 6, probably the July after the convoy. I got a text from Keith Wilson. And he said, "Here, watch this podcast. This person's either talking about you or he's talking about me." And this person went on and on and on and on and on for the whole thing. And I'm like, when is this guy going to get to the point? About,
Is this the
and
guy that
whole
called
thing.
you Hurt Locker Tom?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Hurt Locker Tom, but he is affiliated. He's affiliated. And he's been poking his head in BC politics a lot lately, heavily involved in that. But yes, the Hurt Locker Tom guy. And so he's going on and on his podcast about how, you know, he's trying to get the audience. It's all clickbait in his language, right? To say who sabotaged the convoy, right? We're going on and on and on. And so Keith said he's either talking about you or me. And it turns out he was actually talking about both me and Keith, right? Now, here's a funny thing. We fast forward, you know, to the next fall. We're all in Ottawa, and we're seeing testimony at the Public Order Emergency Commission, and Justin Trudeau is being. And this incident came up several times, and it's about your Twitter account, Tamara. It's about your Twitter. So this is the night before Trudeau. So on the 13th of February, it's the night before that Trudeau invokes the Emergencies Act. That same night, the IRG, which is his immediate response group, is being briefed on a plan by the OPP to do engagement, to just talk to us, to engage with us. But we're all in a meeting. Me, Chris, you, everybody's in a meeting with the town. And that's the same day that the letters were exchanged between you and Jim Watson, the mayor of Ottawa. And so we go into this meeting, you know, my phone's off, everyone's phone's off, and the meeting ends and our phones all blow up. It's like, what the hell's going on? And everyone's upset. And because, you know, in the paper, Jim Watson put it in the paper, they announced the whole deal, everything. Trudeau was briefed on the fact that there was a pending deal. We had moved trucks out of the residential areas and up onto Wellington, which was what we were fighting for the whole time anyway.
Yeah.
And here's the funny part. The same person who went on and said that it was me and Keith that sabotaged the convoy, actually, because he had your Twitter login, instead of using his own name, took your account and posted, and I'm going to quote, "More fake news." I was looking it up while I was talking. "More fake news, this time from CTV News. No deal has been struck. The federal government has not yet lifted its mandates and passports. Do not watch fake news. It's bad for your mental health. This is completely false." Okay. That statement, that tweet that went out was briefed to the IRG.
From Tamara's account.
From Tamara's account. Yes. Yeah. Which there's no way Tamara could have done it because she was in the meeting with us.
Yeah.
Right. And she had put her name on the letter to Jim Watson that they published. The thing is, this person didn't use his own account. he used Tamara's account. So that tweet was briefed to Justin Trudeau. Okay. And I'm looking, it took me a while, but I'm looking where when Eva Chipiuk was cross-examining Justin Trudeau during the commission, he says that, and I'm quoting Justin Trudeau, and we were also advised that the agreement wasn't holding and that many of the convoy had decided it as fake news and not actually an agreement that they would abide by. This came directly from Justin Trudeau on the stand, sworn testimony, right? And there's like, this is one of our own people that stuck a hatchet right in our backs. Yeah, you know, and he targeted all of us, and he spent 2 years running around saying that it was me and Keith that sabotaged the Freedom Convoy. And the whole time, this guy, and by the way, this individual was briefed and was part of all the discussions, including he jointly made the decision by the Freedom Corps board to sign the deal with and put out the letter to sign the agreement with the city to move the trucks out of the residential and up onto Wellington.
Well, and I think if you remember, I think if you remember, the best part, one of the best parts of the POEC in his testimony was when Brendan Miller had him under cross-examination. And so this gentleman, BJ, I'm just going to say his name because I don't care. Because people probably want to know how we got my access to my stuff. So there's a whole story there, a whole backstory that I'm happy to tell one day, but not tonight. But anyways, where was I going with this? So Benjamin was trying to make Keith Wilson look really bad by saying in this email, I think Keith had said something about this is really going to piss Trudeau off. And so Benjamin tried to make a big deal about this, all the while denying that he was in the meeting where we decided to do the deal with and where we signed the letter. And he agreed. He was on speakerphone. He wasn't there in person. Remember, he broke his leg, so he had dialed on speaker. And so he was adamant and really trying to go after Keith and make him look bad. And then Brendan brought up the actual email, and where at the top where it says that he was in the meeting and he agreed to the deal. So I mean, that was a perfect way to end his testimony, because he just walked out of there looking like a greasy car salesman that can't be trusted. And that's exactly what he is. Yeah. I've got no problem saying anything. You know, I was really shocked because there was a time I knew Benjamin before I knew any of you. And I knew him through my association with Tom Quiggin. So without getting into the long story, which we should do an episode and talk about this one day. And so it was because of Tom Quiggin, and him working for him, that I just sort of gave him naive, instant credibility. Because I'm like, if Tom Quiggin trusts you, man, you got to be solid. And so we established a bit of a friendship. Now, I wouldn't say that we were close friends, obviously. Like, we talk on the phone once in a while, but so anyways, just through his association with Tom, lesson for me to learn, right? I mean, just because you are associated with quality people doesn't mean that you are one yourself. Yep. So anyways, we'll do that one day.
Well, you know, it is funny. Though. Go ahead, Chris.
There was a lot of that too. I don't think people quite understand how many, us, like you and myself, Tamara, and others, were trying to find dialogue with the government, trying to work with law enforcement, trying to find some way to alleviate the pressure in the downtown core. And you had people in our inner group that was working against that. Their idea was, no, gridlock the city, shut the whole thing down, make them come to us on their knees. That was never, my intention or any of your intentions to do anything like that. We went there to have a conversation. And those actions, but we fought that for those entire 3 weeks. Those people that, you shouldn't work with the police. Well, I've been raised to work with the police when that was my dialogue. That was something that I took on myself to work every day with.
Oh, sorry. My dad's actually calling me.
Aww,
no, it's okay.
Visits tonight. Were you here when my dad stopped in? My dad stopped in earlier too to drop off.
Oh, nice. Nice. No, and you're right, Chris. Like we had a lot of competing priorities, right? And this was difficult to manage, but not impossible. But there were some people that no matter what you did, they were just counterproductive. No matter what you did, you just couldn't rein them in. They were just off on their own. They had their own agendas. And, we tried to mitigate it as best as we could. I remember, I remember one incident where there was a slow roll that it did go to the airport. And I sent Tom Quiggin and I said, Tom, you go. You got to be the adult. You keep an eye on the guy who's leading the slow roll to the airport. Because if he tries to shut this airport down or block that orange air ambulance lane, people are going to jail and people's lives are going to be at risk. We're not doing that, but you have to go. We put controls on people that we were just not sure about, right? And that was important. Like in I think every single day we talked about safe and responsible. Be safe, be responsible. And I will say the three of us, I can guarantee, even Keith and some of the others I was more close with, we always considered even the safety of the police officers in there, right? Because they had to go home to their families too. Like that, we had a lot of support from Ottawa police. We had. And so we had, and this is why they brought other police from different jurisdictions on the last 2 days. Because they knew the Ottawa police wouldn't have been nearly as aggressive or violent as everybody else would. But, at the end of the day, we were being as safe and as responsible as we could. And the Ottawa police, I think, even acknowledged it. Even Fong Lee acknowledged it to me one day. Actually thanked me for being cooperative and stuff. It's like, look, I wore a uniform for 25 years. Like, I understand this kind of dynamic. For everybody's sake, let's do this right. Let's do this safe and responsibly. But yet we had people that were just irresponsible and unsafe at times. But I think we did a great job of containing that, putting stops on there. And I think overall people just started to realize, okay, we could be here for a long time. Let's not do stupid things. So there was a couple occasions. Yeah.
There was so many. I mean, that's the thing that people don't know. Like the stuff, it wasn't just us dealing with the police, trying to get a conversation with the government, dealing with like porta potties or like all the stuff, even the mundane things like shoveling snow or garbage collection, like all of the stuff is going on. Plus we're dealing with GoFundMe. We've got the lawyers there. We're fighting off other groups that are trying to come in and hijack us. And then we're trying to put fires from other people that are trying to cause problems, or maybe not even trying to cause problems. It's just that perhaps they didn't think through what they were planning to do properly, and it caused us problems. And I would say 50 to 60% of our time was literally running around trying to solve problems created by some of our own people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You remember
it didn't help.
We got called over to the hotel that one night to put a fight out between two people, two organizers that decided to start having a fist fight in one of the like that's some of the backstory stuff. We kind of marched in there and you watched
people got to see angry Tamara that night.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And you might be small, but you're mighty in your words when you're that up.
Yeah. We had this, like BJ thought it was a great idea to go on Russia Today.
Yeah.
Right. And he testified to say that he just thought it was funny. Like there we are being accused of, Russia overthrow the government and Russia funding us and all this stuff. And he thought it would be a good idea, a wise idea to get on Russia Today or RT and do an interview with them because he thought it would be funny. Mm-hmm. Like this is the guy that somehow sold himself as this media guru. And this is why it always really upset me when he talked about how media savvy he was and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, if you're so media savvy and you have this huge following, why did you not put that tweet out in your name?
Yes.
Why did you commandeer Tamara's name and take advantage of the fact that she trusted you?
One of the first things, like I said, there was a few question marks I had about him as the convoy drew closer and we were leaving. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, I knew him, but I didn't know him that well, Mm-hmm. And what I did discover after all of this, though, is I did some digging because I knew that Benjamin was producing a podcast for Tom. I knew some other people that he'd been producing them for. And he has an MO. And that MO is basically stirring the pot, causing division, and then watching things blow up. Every single person that I've found out who he produced a podcast, because that's what he does. And I let him have access to my social media because I did trust him. And I thought he was good with the media. But anyways, that's his MO. He gets the access to social media of these people and then starts posting defamatory, Islamophobic, maybe videos and stuff that get these people sued. Tom Boykin was sued and lost $1 million. And I know even his friend Daniel Boardman, who Benjamin works with, went after Waleed Solomon, who is Aaron O'Toole's former campaign manager, at BJ's insistence and with his help and providing his stuff. And he ended up getting sued. I know a lady from Halifax who's a doctor. He was doing a podcast for her. Same thing. She ended up getting sued. Plus, there's another gentleman in Halifax that she told me about. So there's a very specific modus operandi here. And I do believe, like you alluded to when you first came on, Tom, I do believe that I see fingerprints and remnants of this all over this one BC stuff. And I think we know what the common denominator is there. So do I know that he has anything to do with it? I don't. All I can say is that I've watched the implosion of one BC. I think it's unfortunate. And I mean, that's all I could think of was how the similarities between what I was seeing happening with that organization and what I've seen him involved in so many other times before.
So Ruby's the one who alerted me to the fact that last year she messaged me and said, have you looked at tommarazzo.com? So I'm like, okay, that's interesting because I owned tommarazzo.ca. So I Google it, and BJ Dichter, who had been attacking me for at least 2 years by then, had purchased tommarazzo.com and was directing people to his book, which, by the way, he didn't write. And he stiffed the guy who wrote his book. He stiffed the guy for the money for writing that book.
Guy.
Yeah, and I hear he's a great guy, and he lost his crap with BJ, and he's the one who got ripped off from BJ. You know, and like he's attacking me constantly. And yet then he purchased tommarazzo.com to drive sales to his book. This is the kind of guy that this is. Now, let's go back to Wyatt Claypool. Okay, Wyatt Claypool. Okay, this is where the connection is. Wyatt Claypool is an underling of Jim Karahalios. Jim Karahalios is BJ Dichter's lawyer. Jim Karahalios is the leader of the New Blue political party in Ontario that I've run against. And believe me, there's no love between me and Jim. That's fine. But if you go on now to tommarazzo.com, it'll take you straight to a video of Jim Karahalios and BJ Dichter on Rebel News with Sheila Gunn Reid defaming Tom Marazzo. It's cute, right to the point where they start ripping into me. I told Rebel, leave it on, leave it up.
Yeah.
I want people to see it. And at some time that I might choose to file a complaint against Jim with the Ontario Law Society, this is what I want to use as evidence, right? I haven't bothered because I just honestly I can't be bothered to deal with these guys. But cool. You know the connection. So here's the thing: when they announced that Wyatt was now the new chief of staff to Dallas Brody, which I've spoken to Dallas. I like Dallas. You know she's done some amazing things. When they announced Wyatt, you know the documentary that they put out, it's like 2 weeks ago, they won the Super Bowl. They broke all the records. And a week later, we hear Wyatt's in there. And then a week and a half later, the whole party's ripped to shreds. And now the Super Bowl team that just won and broke all the records just fired their quarterback and head coach. Like this is the insanity of it, right? And who's the common denominator with this? Who has a long history of infiltrating organizations and then rotting them like a cancer from the inside out? BJ Dichter. BJ.
Well, it's funny because I came across some text messages from Wyatt very early on. Like I'm talking mid-January, just when we first started organizing. where he was like trying to tell me like that you have to get rid of Pat. Pat can't stay. You got to push him out. And I kept saying, chill. Like, first of all, it's none of your business. But
Yeah.
I mean, again, because he's good friends with Benjamin, or was at least at that time.
Mhm.
And, you know, I basically finally had to just shut him right down because he was trying to be very persuasive. And I just kept saying, look, man, I have to believe that everybody's here for the same reason that I am, whether you like him or not. Like, everybody deserves a chance, you know, like we do not have, we got to save our country. We don't have time to, you know, figure out this, like, we got a country to save. So anyways, I mean, yeah, he's very, like, I just thought it was sort of funny across this memory where here he is again trying to stick his fingers in something and cause problems, you know what I mean? And I just want to go back to the ghostwriter for Benjamin's book. It's really funny because I met him again a second time at a Rebel event in Toronto last year, and it was and I didn't recognize him at first. So I saw this guy, like, you know, when someone's trying to kind of catch your attention, you can kind of see them, and I saw this gentleman doing that. And so finally I went over and talked to him, and he reintroduced himself to me, and he started apologizing like crazy. He said, I was the author of Benjamin's book. I am so sorry. I can't believe the kind of person that he turned into. And I just want to, I applaud you for, you know, how you're responding. Because I don't respond. Because I mean, it's, you know, but I felt genuinely bad for him. He was a really nice, and then I felt even worse because I said, I started reading it, but in the second chapter, there was just already so many untruths in it that I couldn't, and then his face just fell. So I promised him I would finish reading it just for his sake, but I just can't bring myself to. But I will, I promise. Anyway, it's a great guy, but yeah, so, even in his book, there was so much already. That
Zippy,
I just woke him up, Stacy, so that's on you. He had his supper tonight.
Yeah. You know what? My first introduction to Wyatt was because I met Daniel the day that BJ was doing his infomercial on Bitcoin. And so I had walked out of the room, whatever. I had nothing to do with that. I was there just to collect Keith Wilson. But after the convoy, it was probably in the March after the convoy, I went on Daniel Broadman and Wyatt's podcast. There was about 500 subscriber on his podcast, right? So I go on this thing. It was a Friday night. We had a great time. I thought, you know, it was enjoyable. Tuesday, I was not a member of the Ontario Party. I wasn't running as a candidate, nothing. But I had been talking to them. I looked into them. I had already investigated the New Blue and ruled them out. I had no idea that Wyatt and Daniel were both heavily affiliated insiders with the New Blue.
Yes.
So on my Twitter, I think on the Tuesday after the interview I did with Wyatt and thing, I just announced on my Twitter that I'm endorsing the Ontario Party for the upcoming election. Well, man, did the New Blue attack dogs come out of the woodwork. And it started with Wyatt and Daniel. And, you know, I had this one, she was one of their candidates in the GTA somewhere, basically saying, I heard rumors of fake leaders in the convoy, and this guy is one of them for sure. I'm like, one, I never said I was a leader. I just happened to be helping like the other thousands of people that were there helping. Right. Yeah. And like, so it got really twisted. So they tried to vilify me. And I wasn't even a member of the Ontario Party at the time. Right. My crime was using my freedom to choose and my exercise my own democracy in selecting the party that I wanted to support. That was my crime. And it did amaze me that a lot of people in the New Blue didn't see that for what it really was. Right. And like there was a lot of great people that ran in the New Blue. There's a really good people in there, you know, but you know, since then, you know, a lot of people have woken up to how toxic some of the people in the senior leadership in that party are. You know, Jack McClellan resigned from the New Blue because of the things that Jim Karahalios did, especially during the commission when he showed that video of me, which had nothing to do with the Justin Trudeau's decision to invoke the Emergencies Act. That incident that they showed at the commission was 6 months after the convoy. It was on Canada Day. You know,
that's totally a Benjamin Dictor move too, just to try and.
It is.
I mean, it's just so. It's just so.
Do you guys feel that? you know, when beginning a convoy, we were kind of all running around. Nobody really knew what direction to go. When the GCCF flew a bunch of lawyers in to help us out, Keith Wilson and Evan Chipiak were two of those main people that helped organize and try and get a little stability and focus and like a conversation going forward. And I think some people within, you know, the management or whatever it may be, felt very threatened by Keith Wilson coming in and actually having a say on that. Two people I can think of in particular that did not like his input because it took the distraction away from them and the control out of their hands. And the control wasn't going in the right direction under their hands. So
and certainly for BJ,
that must be who they allude to are our handlers. I'm assuming when you guys were talking that one time about our handlers won't let us talk to people. You're like, who's our handlers?
I know.
My handler's about
Tom
11 pounds. He tells me twice or 3 times a day when he wants to be. Zippy, are you my handler?
Well, sometimes Keith does feel like a dad. So I mean,
you've
got to get permission from dad. But
they flew out there. I am so
I was literally working on a plan with Randy Hillier to park a whole bunch of tractors on the front lawn of the Supreme Court of Canada. And me and Randy were about to launch this plan. The last person on my list to check with was legal, which was Eva, because I'm like, what kind of jeopardy could something like this put us in? And she looked at me. That's the first time I ever actually got her attention. She looked at me and she goes, "You're not doing that." I go, "Why?" Yeah, I said, "You got 5 minutes to convince me as to why I'm not doing it, because I'm about to greenlight this in about an hour." And she said, "Because tomorrow I'm going to be standing in a court facing Justice McLean, and he's going to hold it against me if you go and put a bunch of tractors on the front lawn of the highest court in the country. So no, you're not doing it." And I said, I gave you 5 minutes. You got her done in 30 seconds. Good for you. So me and Randy killed it. We killed it right there. Right.
Yeah.
And it was just to try to make some space and to kind of send a signal that, look, we want to work with you, but we're not going to be here as a wallflower. Like, we're here for legit reasons. We came all this way. We're going to do something. But we never ran outside of the lines. You know, we stayed inside the lines as best as we could. And we sought each other's advice. Nobody made unilateral decisions.
Exactly.
You know, these were all.
That's why we got the lawyers to come anyways, was so that we were out, because none of us were lawyers or legal professionals, maybe outside of Daniel Beaufort. But I mean, he couldn't manage. I mean, he was law enforcement. There's a difference, right? And so it was to get the lawyers there to make sure that we were staying within the parameters of the law, and to make sure that we weren't stepping around it. And, you know, thank God for them. I mean, we talked about that before, 300,000 lawyers in Canada, and 5 of them came to Ottawa.
Yeah. Yep.
5.
And
that's the sad part about Canadian and law in Canada is Crown lawyers. Our legal teams, like our lawyers in Canada right now, are almost conditioned to fear the government and do not question the government, do not try and challenge the government. You can do it to a certain degree, but it's got to be done, and we've witnessed that.
Well, there's no separation anymore between the legislative and the judiciary anymore, basically. I mean, we have a judiciary full of woke judges that are literally just upholding woke policies and virtue signaling policies by our government. So it's so true. Like, it absolutely is true. And, you know, to raise your point, 300,000, you know, bar insured licensed lawyers in Canada, a small handful showed up to help us in Ottawa. And there was some that were already there, luckily, like Diane and everybody in her team were there, luckily. But, you know, everything, Sean Buckley said this the day I testified at the NCI. He said, you know, everything that was put into place against the public was put into place, was legislation and mandates written by lawyers. You know, so it was lawyers that wrote the language to allow for politicians to do what they did. You know, and that's not lawyers looking up and going, wait a minute, you know, on day one of law school, I think I heard something about this thing called the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, you know, and it is like, hey, if any of you want to ask,
Brian Peckford's here. If you want to ask, you know, he'll take your call.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But what
Can
did
you
we
believe
get,
that
Tamara?
CBC Legacy Media, CBC was using the bill of the Charter of Rights as propaganda against Daniel Smith using the notwithstanding clause.
Oh, I
But
saw that.
did they do that during Convoy when the Charter was basically trampled on by Justin Trudeau and every member of Parliament? No, they did not. It shows right there just how corrupt and
Oh yeah. Every time the notwithstanding clause gets mentioned, it's weaponized against their political opponent, even though they all use it. Right? They use it out of convenience, and when the other one does it, they cry foul and say it's not democratic. It's like, well, then why did you use it?
Question.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Did that lady? No, she is alive and well, Connie May. She lives in Ontario. She is a Mohawk elder lady, and she did finally have her surgery, I believe, because she had broken her clavicle and was in quite a bit of pain ever since. But I do believe within the last few months she has had her surgery, and I think she's doing really well. So thank you for asking. Candy Ciro is her name.
Reach out, Candice. Let us know how you're doing. Actually, we should have Candice on the show one of these days. That would be.
I talked to her about 2 weeks ago. She's doing really well, but yeah, she would be great to have on the show.
Yep.
I've also, as I've let you know, I've reached out to Dr. Roger, so I'm gonna schedule him in January, sometime over the holidays. I'm gonna work with him over the holidays to schedule him later in January.
Yeah.
Kayla Pollock and Carrie Sakamoto, I really want to get them on sometime in January and really help push their fundraisers. And just so that you guys know, I am going through the steps to get this channel monetized, so that we can cover our expenses, Ruby's wage, pay for the software, and then everything else that comes in over and above that we're going to use for whichever fundraiser that we're promoting that month. But kind of what B4F did. Great model, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that way nobody here is going to fight over money and get in a big argument and who's getting $5 more than somebody else. We'll use it to cover our expenses, make sure our good friend Ruby is looked after, and the rest we're going to donate. So
let's manage.
Do you have any suggestions or go ahead?
Well, I want to manage expectations because in the year that I've had my YouTube channel going and monetized, I think I've made $103. So let's manage expectations.
Because
a whole 103.
Yeah.
Because of Facebook and the monetization on my Big Red account, I was able to donate. I think it was $400 and some to the SPCA and supplies a few weeks ago. So I think it's the 21st when that next monetization hits the bank account, and so I will be then taking, basically half of that and giving it to the SPCA in some form or manner. Because
that's cool.
Jonathan and Cooper took the donations.
Thomas.
We wound up with a cat and a dog, so I got to be careful how we approach the SPCA going forward here, because I know we'll wind up with more animals.
That's right.
Jonathan and Cooper have a new dog called Flea, and he's an amazing dog.
Nice. That's cool.
By the time house arrest is over, you're not going to have room for your human family in your home. It's all going to be full of SPCA pets.
I know. I'm a sucker for an
Thanks
animal.
for saying that, Thomas. I don't think I'm a great singer, honestly, but I do enjoy it. So that's really what matters at the end of the day. Okay, James Bowder. Yeah, I was talking with Chris. Chris might actually get James on here one day because he's down in the States, I think, trying to get amnesty down there.
Yeah, I talk to James every now and then. He calls me and we have a conversation. James fighting for his life right now, and he's in Montana right now, and he's applied for political asylum in the U.S. and he's waiting for a date in I believe spring of 2026, just in order to get some sort of a visa and his license so he can actually start working and making a living. Right now, he's kind of in purgatory land when it comes to the law. He can't do anything, and he's depending on support. So if you go to James Bowder's Facebook page, you can see how you can buy him a coffee. That's helping him get by right now. He's waiting for all this stuff, and he could really use their help. So reach out to James if you can help him in any such way. He's been trying to do the right thing here the last while.
Mm-hmm.
David doesn't like my teeth. My feelings are hurt.
Oh. David, yell at mother for another pizza pop upstairs, please.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, they're the only teeth I have. They function. They do their job. I'm sorry that you don't like them, David. Actually, I don't give a shit.
Crawl back in your hole, David.
Yes. Oh my God, I just love some of the comments that we get. It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, well, we've talked about the things that we get accused of spending our money on. I won't mention it, but we have some inside jokes about that.
I just see on the comments here, post a link for you. Just go on Facebook and type James Bowder, and you'll be able to find James pretty fast on there. And he posts a lot of updates on his stuff right now. So one of these days we'll get him on. There's so many people that have reached out that want to be a part of the show here. It's kind of hard. A lot of times we're busy, we're running, even though we're under house arrest. It feels like I've hardly had the time. Like I said, I was sitting at the bar waiting for my supper, and I had to run back out to the truck here and fire up the iPad. So it's been a long day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got 18 months. And not only that, but we also have to think, and this is definitely something I wanted to talk to the audience about. So as you know, the 4th anniversary of the convoy is coming up. I think that we should try and think of something very special to do with the show over those 4 weeks, that 4-week time period. So please feel free to email us. I'll get that put up there again for you. Please feel free to email us. I'm not sure if we should increase our live streams to more than just once a week for that time period to talk about stuff that happened that day. I mean, there's really so many things we can do. So many guests we could actually invite on just for that alone too.
Yes,
so
right there,
Chris,
Kate,
Tom, and everyone. Yep.
Try and get Kate.
Yeah. So yeah. And
it'd be great to get for the anniversary would be for people to make videos and send them into the email, and then we can just watch all the emails from across the country, and see maybe people want to celebrate it together.
Awesome.
We can post their videos.
Well, and you know what we could do, Tom? Here's my challenge to you. We could do that. Send in your video, just like you said. We could have Ruby perhaps pick a couple of her favorites, and maybe you and I should send them a free book.
Oh, I love it. Yes,
okay.
I like that. I like this. Yes.
Book, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's a great idea.
I might have an extra calendar too.
Comment est en français. I am working on it. Ray Rouleau. I had 3 weeks off of my French lessons, unfortunately, but je vais très bien. Je ne parle pas bien le français. I don't speak French very well. But it will come. It will come.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pack it up now, and I'm gonna head back in for my supper. So
Yeah, you go ahead. I'm just gonna hang out here and just say goodbye to everyone. And so you have a great night, Chris. We will please send me the link for tomorrow's hearing as soon as you get it, probably in the morning. And again, I'm sure everybody in here is thinking of you and sending their love and their prayers and wishing you good luck. I know you're gonna get a W tomorrow, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need a win here. We need some awakening. Yeah. So this truck is. I'll be ripping through North Dakota tomorrow. Most of the time, I'll actually park for tomorrow. Usually, I just put the phone on the dash and the hands free and listen to the judge and the lawyers argue. But tomorrow, I'll actually park for it. So I appreciate all the prayers and all the thoughts and all the comments. My inboxes are full on everyone just wishing for the best tomorrow. So we greatly appreciate it from my family to yours. And I want to make sure everybody has an amazing Christmas out there next week and be safe, please. Enjoy your time with your families and keep it on the peaceful side.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. Okay. Have a good night, Chris.
See you, Chris. Yeah. And me, as always, I'm going to end up with go buy a book. That's a great gift for Christmas this year. The People's Emergency Plan. I write about it all the time, but the uptake. I wrote this book to help as many people as I possibly could. And given the events that I don't even want to say the events from last week in Bondi Beach and at the university, because these things happen all the bloody time. So I wrote this book to help people for what is upon us. I just, it's a great Christmas gift for people. It's a workbook. It's not read it and forget about it and hope that you never use it. It's a workbook. So get it and treat it like it's a workbook and treat it seriously. It will help you. The goal when I wrote this was to save as many people's lives as I possibly could. That doesn't mean about violence or anything like that. It's about emergencies, snowstorms, wildfires, floods, you name it. It's there to help you. It's a resource. And by the way, David Redman helped me, a lot. He was a big contributor to this. He was the former head of Emergency Management Alberta. And he wrote the preface to the book, and he was a big contributor to making it such a great and helpful book. So that's my plug for the book, to help people.
I haven't read that one yet. I loved your first book, the People's Emergencies Act.
You're the one who read it.
Yes,
yeah. It's the book
really
is
well
called.
done. And I think you talked about this one on Canadian Prepper, did you not?
Yes,
one of
this
my
was the
favorite
book.
all-time follows. Yeah, he was on Canadian Prepper talking about it. So check out that episode.
Yeah, and the name of the book is called The People's Emergency Plan. Just type in Tom Marazzo in Amazon and it'll come up. I actually wrote 3 books now.
Don't go to TomMarazzo.com though. Don't go to TomMarazzo.com.
Exactly.
No.
Don't go to that one. Yes, you'll just see an awful human being. Yes.
Oh man.
So.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Tom, I think I gotta let my dog out here, but thanks for helping us out with the show these past few weeks. I'm looking forward to everything that we can do in the new year. Yeah. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas. And like I said, I think we should plan maybe something just a fun.
Yeah.
Have any plans
tomorrow morning?
We'll just set this up for New Year's Eve.
Sure. I'm probably available, but tomorrow morning I'm going to pick up my marriage license.
Oh,
the big news.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
Oh,
Can't
that's
wait.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
You.
Very happy.
Exciting. Yeah.
Okay.
You deserve it, Tom. You really deserve it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go, and then I'll just do a quick wrap up and say
All
Merry
right.
Christmas.
Awesome.
And so take care,
Thanks,
Tom. Thanks
Tamara.
for coming.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
And I just want to say thanks to all of you for joining us again on House Arrest with Chris and Tamara. I just thank you for coming. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all the love and the prayers. Special thank you to David for noticing my beautiful teeth. And yeah, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I wish you all the best in the new year. We will not have a stream next week, but we will be back. I'll get it posted on all of our X and all of our channels so that you know. Anyways, just love you guys and take care. Merry Christmas.